Hey humans, thanks for stopping by Visually and Verbally, where we look at marketing from both design and content perspectives. Pictures and words, my friends. Pictures and words. Today we're talking about the new magazine-style website for the UK leg of one of the world's most well-known brands, Coca-Cola. To follow along, you can find this website at coca-cola.co.uk.
To give you a little background, this new site from Coke aims to be more editorial than corporate. It's called Coca-Cola Journey and will have a greater multimedia and storytelling focus in a bid to drive brand engagement by making the site more socially enabled. According to the digital communications director for Coca-Cola Northwest Europe, through Journey, we want to bring to life the stories about our company, our brands, our employees, and our actions around the world. We also want to make our stories more appealing, relevant, and engaging to people by using the right multimedia content to bring them to life. So let's talk a little bit about this website from both the visually and verbally perspectives. Do you want to go first, Patrick, or you want me to?
I think we should change it up and have you go first because I feel like I've been going first a lot lately.
Well, I don't want you to feel, like you're unjustly put in the position of having to go first, so verbally we'll take this one. So, looking at the Coca-Cola Journey site, definitely more of a magazine style, as I'm sure you'll talk about. If you go to the homepage here, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different content blocked out in different categories: business, history, brands. So you just got a whole bunch of information splashed all over there. One of the things to me I actually like best about this homepage is probably the top slider, which is something, a lot of different websites do. And so what I want to talk about with the top sliders is this is a great example of visual and verbal working together to create a powerful presentation, which is the whole purpose of this show, is talking about how the visual and the verbal combine to make messaging more powerful. So verbally, this is primarily done on the slider through the tried and true method of pairing together a headline and a deck, or a main heading and a subhead. I say tried and true because this practice has been around since basically the heyday of newspapers. If any of you people out there remember them. And when done well, this is a great way to be creative, provide information, and compel clicks. So the basic composition here, as you'll see in most of the blocks on the top slider with the words, with the text, is you have a headline, which is something you can use to make attention grabbing or even abstract. That's the part that grabs your reader. And then you have your deck or subhead, which gives you a more straight up, here's what this is actually about. So this is done pretty well on the Coca-Cola Journey site. I'll give you some examples here. You have a picture of the 4 different Coke cans that they've united visually. And so your header is good things come in 4s. Your subhead is our new one brand strategy. Another example, you have a picture of Warren Buffett strumming a guitar ukulele. Your headline is from one icon to another. Your deck of watch Warren Buffett serenade the Coca-Cola bottle. And a third example we see is the headline Bottleneck Blues, which is a pretty good one. How slide guitarists use the Coca-Cola bottle to make sweet music. And then I'll just give you one final example, is an old kind of picture of Marilyn Monroe drinking the Coke with your headline, I've Kissed Marilyn, 100 years of the Coca-Cola bottle. So all these serve, the same purpose as this top to bottom information to just pull you in from the visual to the headline to the deck, increasing your interest. And so if you're using any sort of homepage slider on your website, this is something you can learn from because it's a pretty easy, established practice, but something when done well, it works. You just got to make sure you keep it short, snappy, and informative. And this Coca-Cola Journey page, I think, has a good example of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, it's a great combination of the visual and the verbal to pull people in, to get them excited. Not too excited, just excited enough. Well, from a visual perspective, I can't say that the Journey portal or Media Hub breaks any boundaries when it comes to web design or visual design for that matter. But that's not what they're trying to do here, really. The real goal of the Journey site is to package all of their stories in an online magazine/blog sort of way, which is totally fine, and I think they've done that very well in this example. So let's move on to the happiness. There are a few things I like about the main page of this site. The visual curation of the content, if you will, is well done. First, the featured images that scroll at the top of the page are all specifically designed for this site. And like you talked about, the headlines all work really well with the visuals. And the slider images are all a little different, which is refreshing. This might seem like a duh moment, but you'd be surprised, or maybe not so much, at how many sites reuse images and content from other initiatives. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it's very obvious that it doesn't work. So for a global beast like Coca-Cola, I like that they're developing content specifically for this site and this page, because they could have just as easily repurposed these from other marketing initiatives and junked up the site. That's a technical term, by the way, Shad. Do you know that?
I think I've heard it once before, but only amongst experts and professionals.
Yeah, don't junk that up, Shad. Second, I like how they've broken up the content into sections with these very defined boxes. They all have unique colors to define the type of content within the story. And these color tags follow the story and the category throughout the site. So, for example, you've got brands, you've got culture, you've got business, and you can see them, how they're all indicated with their own color. And then that follows that specific category or that color tag throughout the site. And then third and finally, I particularly love the snapshots section towards the bottom of that main page that showcases some of the vintage advertisements from Coca-Cola. This is the best example of visually stimulating your audience. And to see how different advertising was over 100 years ago is always entertaining, because Coca-Cola has such a long history to pull from. It presents the visitor with a visual journey of the company and, in addition, our society, because they are a representation of society at that specific moment in time, which to me is fascinating. That's my visual take on the new Coca-Cola site.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the snapshots part too. What a great way to use the content you have, things you've developed over the years that people will find totally interesting, and can just kind of look through that and get something out of that for both your brand and as entertainment value.
Well, I think that's this website, Visually and Verbally, Shad. We hope this gives you some ideas for your own website. If you'd like to suggest a website for us to talk about on the show, email us at feedback@thinkmonsters.com. Stop back again for another dose of Visually and Verbally.
Whoa!